Hello everyone, my name is Shilbama and I'm a Web3bridge Cohort XIV of the Solidity bootcamp, and here I'll be talking about what I've learned in my week 1. First of all, what is blockchain? Blockchain is a decentralized system for maintaining distributed ledger without relying on the central authority. Talked about the distributed ledger, meaning multiple copies of the transactions are spread across multiple nodes, and talked about the consensus mechanism, proof of work, proof of stake, and the practical Byzantine fault tolerance. Proof of work, miners are rewarded for computing difficult mathematical puzzles. Then the validators are being rewarded, and validators are selected randomly in proof of stake. Practical Byzantine fault tolerance, meaning that in despite of the malicious node or the faulty node, the transaction will still go on. Then we talked about the cryptographic hash function. The same input will give us the same output. If you change anything in the input, it will give us a different output. And it must be deterministic, it must have avalanche effect, and it must give us something that is not irreversible. Then we talked about how the public key and the private key. The public key is derived from the private key, and in this public key is 64, and how we get our wallet address is the last 20 bytes of the public key is our wallet address or the account address. Then we talked about the private key, meaning that this is the most secured part of the key. If anybody have your private key, all the funds that you have in your wallet will be gone. Then talked about the data types. We have different types of data types. We have the struct, we have the enums, we have the arrays. Then we talked about the function view, function pure. Function view reads the state. Function pure neither reads the state, neither modifies it. Then function externals. Function externals actually calls the contract. It functions by calling the contract outside the program, while the function internal calls the contract within that smart contract that we are using. Then we talked about how storage can be used in smart contract. By storing something in a storage, it means that it's very, very expensive and it's very, very persistent, and anything that's stored in storage is very, very expensive, and in memory is very, very temporary and very, very cheap. Then we talked about how Ethereum is Turing complete, in the sense that it handles general purpose computations, and we pay gas fees to be able to handle transactions. And we treated the first 3 chapters of the Mastering Ethereum, and that is how I was able to learn how Ethereum is EVM and Turing complete.